Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Amazing Seller Podcast. This is episode number 725, and today I am fired up for a couple different reasons. First, well, if you're listening to this on the day that this airs on September 16th, 2019, there is 2 days before I'm going to be having my first ever live event. And I've done smaller events, but this is a bigger one with a couple hundred people in a room, all talking about building a brand. And we're calling this Brand Accelerator Live. You probably heard me talk a lot about it lately. If you're new to the show, well, there's an event coming up and it's going to be awesome. Sorry you couldn't make it if you did not grab a ticket, maybe next year. Or if you're interested in picking up the recordings, you can head over to brandacceleratorlive.com, get all the information there, or baltickets.com. And when the recordings are available, they will be available there. And any more information about the upcoming Brand Accelerator Live 2020 will be there as well. So definitely go check that out. But I am super excited because, this event is going to be amazing. And also another little teaser here is I'm going to be making a special announcement on the 23rd of September. So I'm going to be airing it on the podcast. I'm going to try to take the recording from Brand Accelerator Live, and I'm going to publish that here as well. So you can kind of be there as if you were in the audience when I go through and reveal this project that I've been working on for over 13 months. So definitely stay tuned for that episode. All right. Now, the other reason why I'm excited is because today's episode is with a good friend of mine. His name is Mike Kim, and he is a branding expert. He has worked with some really high-level brands, some small, some big, some in between. But this guy is brilliant when it comes to brand building, and he's really, really brilliant at email copy. And what that basically means, if you're brand new and you don't know what that term means, it means writing good emails. All right. So when you write email copy, that just means that you're writing emails. Okay. It's just in the marketing world, they call that copy whenever you're writing something, in marketing. But these emails aren't necessarily marketing. They are building a relationship with your potential customer or customers. Okay. So I want you to understand that. So we go through some brand building tips, but we also, which this wasn't planned, it kind of turned into an email copywriting masterclass, really. I started to talk to him about email. We started to get into the nitty gritty. We started to get into open rates and click throughs and all of that stuff and what makes a good headline subject line. And he went through some really great subject lines that you can model and just fill in the blanks. So you're definitely going to want to listen through on this one. Now, if you're brand new and you're like, Scott, I haven't started list building yet, well, you're in luck because I have a free resource for you. And you can find that by heading over to theamazingseller.com/build list. And that will take you over to that resource. And it's free. You don't even have to give me your email address for that. All you have to do is just go there and put a little bit of time in to watch it and then consume and then go out there and make it happen. Like it literally walks you through exactly how to do it. So definitely do that. The show notes to this episode can be found at theamazingseller.com/725. And you can grab all the show notes, the links that we talk about, and more about Mike over there as well, which Mike is a funny guy, by the way. He's hysterical. If you ever follow him on, and I do recommend you do this just as the humor element here, follow him on Instagram. I mean, he's hilarious. Whenever I watch his stories, I'm usually just laughing and I'll usually comment back to him just how he just really makes my day because he makes me laugh. So anyway, that's a side note and that's a side benefit of knowing Mike. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking now so you guys can listen to this conversation that I had with Mike all about brand building and also a lot of discussion on email and how to really write great emails so they get opened and so they get clicks so you can get people to go to where you want them to go. All right. So guys, sit back, relax, enjoy this episode that I did with my good friend, Mr. Mike Kim. Well, hey, Mike, what's up, man? Thanks for coming on the podcast. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. It's an honor to be here. And for all of you tuning in, it is an honor to be with you. And I hope to add some value to you today.
Yeah, well, we were just talking about pulled necks and backs and muscle and all that stuff. And we were talking about that for like 10 minutes because we're older now. How old are you right now? Are you in your 40s yet?
Yeah, I'm 41.
Are you? Okay. Well, I'm older than you. I'm 47. So, but yeah, so as you get older, and I hate saying that, man, I hate saying like, oh, I'm getting older, I can't do that. That's crap. I can do anything I want, but I do have to treat things a little bit different, right, Mike?
Yeah, and people are like, I can't believe you're 41 because I'm Asian. So I don't know, those of you listening to me on the podcast.
Yeah.
I'm a Korean American, so like I look like I'm 31, and I
You
act
do
like
look
I'm
young.
31, and then my lifestyle is like that of a 21-year-old. So
This is true. This is true. If anybody wants to follow Mike on Instagram, you might want to do that just for the comedy. Just for the comedy. Yeah. I actually watch some of your stuff with your parents and stuff. I just die. I cry over here. It's just good for the entertainment value.
Yeah, I live like a frat boy. It's I take business seriously, and I was once married, so I do have the capability to live somewhat of a serious and regimented life. But it's now Act 2, and whatever, right? So
I love it.
That's why we built these businesses, to support our lives and build the life we want: e-commerce, personal branding, blogging, you name it. And so might as well enjoy it. Right?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think you go through these different, like, I think you call them seasons at one point too. You and I were talking, or waves or something. And you and I were actually, we actually met in Puerto Rico at Puerto Rico Masterminds. And I think the event was over, and then you and I were out on the beach, and then we didn't realize we were both on the beach. Then we were in the water, and then we were just having a great conversation in the water. And you were talking about different waves in your business. And we were talking about your business and my business and, just other businesses that we've helped or whatever. You know what? I didn't know that I was going to go this direction, but I want to go this direction because I think it's important, because I do believe that there are these different seasons in business. There's these different, periods in business. Give me your philosophy on business as an entrepreneur that has shiny objects out there all the time. Like, talk a little bit about that. I'm just curious. I know we're going to talk about brand building and stuff, but I want to talk about this. I think this is important.
Yeah. So I think about seasons in business in two ways, right? So number one, I think of it, I think of us entrepreneurs as living a rock star life. And what I mean by that is, if you have a rock star, like a high level performer, right? Mm-hmm. You name it, U2, Justin Bieber, whoever, right? Come
on, Justin Bieber. Now, Mike, who are you listening to? Who's on your playlist?
His last album was pretty good.
It was.
Right? Anyways, right? So, they go on tour. They go on tour, and that's all they do. They just go on tour, mm-hmm. right? And so they're performing. Then after tour, they just do nothing. They go on break for 3 months, mm-hmm. right? And then after that's over, they get into the studio and they start writing songs and recording and doing a bunch of pre-prep, right? So it's cyclical. Their lives are cyclical. They don't release a new album every 6 months. They don't go on tour a year round.
True.
Right? So there are these seasons. And for us as entrepreneurs, that applies to all of our businesses. And it depends on the industry that you're in. But I know for my industry, and Scott, probably we're in the same industry by and large. And so we can tell that in the marketing and business space, conference season, if you will, is like the end of February to like May, right? To like Memorial Day. That's like conference season.
Yeah.
And then summer, people don't have these events, right? They just kind of do nothing. They go on vacations, and there's a handful of events here and there. And then the fall kicks up again, right? You have these events from September to like mid-November. And then the holiday season, it just dies down. And so even then, even looking at that, that's a very practical way to look at the calendar. And so you've picked times where you do launches or big promotions or whatnot. And so I've learned to kind of ride those waves in business, and understand that, 2 times of the year, it's going to be really busy with travel. And then in the summer and the holiday season in the winter, I should kind of like, hunker down and make sure that I'm okay income wise, and that I'm doing some creative work that I can set up for the next year. So that's like one way that I look at business. And it's so tempting for us to run 1,000,000 miles an hour the whole time. It's just not sustainable. No band goes on tour year round. It doesn't work.
No.
Right?
No.
So yeah, that's one way that I look at it.
No, I love that. And it's kind of like you were talking about. The other analogy too I like that you had was like making the splash. Right? Like, you have these good analogies, man. I like these. Like, it's seasons, and then like the splash, and then it creates this ripple. Talk about the splash real quick.
Yeah. So when I think about building out a marketing campaign for a year, let's say a given year, I actually divide the year into threes, not into quarters.
Okay.
Marketing wise,
Okay.
I measure my finances in quarters,
Mm-hmm.
right? But in terms of creating a marketing campaign or campaigns throughout the year, I divide it into 3 periods of 4 months each.
Okay.
Because from marketing, that standpoint, there's so much creative work that's involved, and you can't rush an audience getting to know you and getting saturated with the message. You can't do that, right? So what I want to do is I want to make sure that I make one big splash promotion every 4 months. And so if I can do that, then I know that during the year, I'm going to have 3 big pushes. And it's not going to wear out my email list. It's not going to wear out my social media followers. And it's going to force me to have some clarity around what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So this past given year, for example, from January to April, my big push was going to be for a membership site. And I opened up my first full-fledged personal branding membership site. And that was the big splash. Now, from May until the end of summer, May to August, the big splash was going to be something like a high-end ticket workshop. And that was going to be the big splash. So now I'm monetizing, but I'm still like maintaining my positioning, because I've always positioned myself at the top of the market. So just to recap that, I'm doing a membership site at $40 a month.
Right.
If I harp on that the whole year, I'm kind of watering down my positioning. So then that second block of the year from May to August, I'm like, I'm going to do a $5,000 workshop where we're going to do, we're going to write your launch copy in 2 days in DC. Right. So then that kind of self-corrects the positioning. And then the last half of this year is all going to be about pre-promoting a book that I'm writing. So those are the 3 splashes that I want to make. So a lot of times when we're in the personal brand space or the entrepreneurial space, especially online, we hear folks talk about how important it is to be consistent with a podcast and blog posts and social media, and all that's super important. But those are like pebbles that you grab in your hand and you throw them into the lake. It doesn't make a big splash. It makes a little bit of a noise, and then the water goes back to being calm. You got to take a big, huge rock, you got to throw it into the ocean, right? You got to throw it into the lake and kerplunk, right? So some of you listening right now, that big splash right now at your stage in business may be just doing a webinar. It may be doing a virtual summit. For others of you, it may be just doing a huge freaking product launch, right? Or it may be doing a huge affiliate offer. So if you can think through those things, it'll keep you from chasing all these other opportunities that come your way. Because Scott, I know you get hammered all the time with, hey, can you affiliate launch this for us? Can you JV with us? I'm the same thing. But when those opportunities come, I can see how they fit in to the calendar if I know the 3 big rocks I want to throw into the water. So yeah, that's how I look at that.
No, that's great. And I think for my audience listening, and some right now are just starting their business venture and their journey, or maybe it's their second or third attempt. But there's a lot of e-commerce sellers too, and I think the e-commerce community and businesses, they only think of themselves as an e-commerce business. And I think there's a huge amount of growth out there for doing things like you just said, right? If it's a major product launch, and a product launch for them might be a $100 product, it might be a $50 product, something like that they're going to do like a Kickstarter in a sense. It's not even a Kickstarter, but let's just say that they launch to their list about an upcoming product and they're going to crush it. And then that product is going to sell, 100 units a day or something, right? And they're going to continually be able to sell that stuff. But so what you're saying is like you almost want to pre-plan the year with these certain splashes and these certain boulders that you're throwing in, not a little stone, like a big rock, and then focus on those throughout the year and take your marketing efforts, whether it's building your list, communicating with your list, sharing how the product is coming. There's actually a guy right now, MMA Bobblehead, which is a great guy, Dave, and he was on our show 5 Minute Pitch, but he has got a great business for leading people through the journey of them building a bobblehead. Now, this isn't like a typical bobblehead that you see like a giveaway. This is like custom crafted for the fighters. Okay.
Yeah.
And so for him to show all the behind the scenes stuff for 6, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 12 weeks, and then all of a sudden it's launched, that's what you're talking about, right? Like you're going to plan out a few of these a year and then focus all your efforts on those to build up the anticipation to get one.
Right. And it's not that you're promoting the thing for the whole 4 months. It depends on your business.
Sure.
But if you start in January and you know that in March or April, you're going to launch this bobblehead push, then you got 2.5 months to prepare for a March launch. Or if you're going from January prepping and you're launching in April, what's going to happen is that you're going to have an echo effect from that launch, right? And you and I both know this. There's like this residual echo, and it's a good thing because people are like, oh, did I miss the offer? Let me get in on that, because they've been hearing a consistent message for several weeks or, over a month.
Right.
Now you can regroup. You don't have to launch something in May. Take a few months, right? Like take a few months, take a breather, give your list a breather, collect some testimonials, get some stuff up and running, and then you can launch something in July or August, and maybe it's a lower key thing. So, in the summertime, in my example, I know people don't typically buy online products in the summer.
Yeah, it's slower. Yep.
They're looking in fall or the spring because that's when they want to make new changes, right? So I'm not going to fight their psychology and try to get them to spend their summer vacation money with their family on a product. So in their mind, I've only launched really 2 products during the year, one in the spring and one in the fall. The summer is just, let me email my list, email them and offer them a high ticket offer where I have a very small number of people. We're not going to do a big publicity push. I can take my foot off the gas publicity wise, but I'm still generating revenue for the business.
Right.
So it's all about just kind of like mapping that out and seeing like, what do you really want to focus on and get behind? And then you can, take the steps forward. Even with affiliate launches, sometimes folks will email me and say, hey, I'm doing this $2,000 product. Can you affiliate launch for it? And I know to do that and be successful, I've almost got to treat that like it's my own product.
Absolutely.
Right? So it's not $100 sale. I'm asking my list to invest $2,000 in something. I have to come up with some bonuses or some other things to add on to that offer to make it like jelly to their peanut butter. Right. So, but if I've got another big thing going on and I'm charging $2,000 for a course and it's mine, I'm not going to promote that other offer because it just doesn't work in the calendar. So you want to be dictated by what you want to do, not necessarily what opportunities are out there.
Yeah. I love it that you're kind of breaking it up into 3 even. And then from there, you can reverse engineer what you're doing in those periods of the year, right? It's like in those chunks, you can kind of say like, okay, so for like me, and I'm getting better at this, but like for the podcast, it's like you want to plan out so for the past, month and a half, I've really been talking a lot about Brand Accelerator Live. Like that's our upcoming event. It's actually right now, we're airing this and this will probably be like a week before the event is actually going to be happening. But I've been talking about it on and off for about 12 months, but I've been really talking about it for the past, month and a half. So I know that my efforts are going to be really focusing on that because I want people to know about it. I want people to come. I want to tell them all the benefits of it and all of that stuff, sharing speakers, coming on the podcast. But I planned all that ahead of time. So there is so much value, I think, that goes into sitting down, carving out the time and mapping out what your year will look like and really then execute on that.
Yeah, that's a perfect example of a big rock.
Yeah.
I mean, a live event, it's a big rock. You're going to get a lot of publicity. People are going to be posting selfies. They're going to be tagging themselves in the event.
Right.
It's just going to blow up and it's going to create major FOMO for a lot of people who aren't there.
Yes.
And you want to ride that momentum.
Right.
But you don't want to come and be like, well, what do I do now? You want to ride that wave. You want to ride the momentum. So it's just like a band who wrote an album, went on tour, took a break, right? But while they're taking a break, because they had this massive amount of energy kind of like hit critical mass, there's going to be an echo after they finish the tour where people are going to still be picking up their content on YouTube or whatever, all these other music channels. So I love that analogy because it really helps us understand like what kind of line of work we're really in. We're really like these mini rock stars.
Well, yeah. And
mini celebrities.
Yeah. And I think like you said, like if you go down that road, like, okay, you're a rock star, you go out, you perform, then you take that break. A lot of times in the break or even on the road, they'll be writing stuff for their next album. And then they might tease their next album months before the album drops. And then the album will drop, and then the next rock that drops is the tour, right? And then it just kind of repeats its cycle. Like you said, you got to kind of figure out what these rocks are. And a lot of times in a business, it's looking at like revenue, what's going to drive revenue, what's going to be able to get more attention in the market, like all of these different things. So speaking to that, and I know that you are a master at copywriting, and you actually had some training out there just recently where you were going through like all of this stuff for free, which was amazing. And we'll give resources and stuff where people can go through that. Because I think anyone right now, if there's something that I could recommend to anyone, even if you're just starting, or even if you've been up and running for a while, learn copywriting. Like learn how to communicate in a way that gets people to know they can trust you, but also get their attention. So maybe we can speak to that. Okay. And if we want to help people understand, like, let me ask you this, is email dead?
No, not at all.
Because we hear that all the time, right?
That's so crazy to me. Like, especially in this line of work that we're in.
Yeah.
You know, any kind of commerce, e-commerce, right? I'm in e-commerce.
Right.
I sell my own products, but I'm in e-commerce, right? That's exactly what it is.
Right.
I would gladly give you all of my social media profiles. You can lock me out of them. You can take them. You can ban me. My business will go on because I have an email list. Like the most sacred thing that we own in today's world when it comes to anything digital is our email account.
100%.
I would literally rather have someone steal my wallet than have access to my email account and have my password. Yeah. Seriously.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that like I would rather lose my wallet than lose my phone. Like most people would say, yeah, actually that's kind of true, because a wallet, you got your ID, you can call your credit cards and cancel, but your phone's got your whole life in it. Right. And so the fact that you can go right into someone's phone and they're willing to have you there in not only in their phone, but on their email, in their email account is a huge privilege. Right. And, people go to social media to waste time.
Pretty much.
They go there to, for three purposes. They go to create content or consume content. They want to be either, they want to be educated, they want to be inspired, or they want to be entertained. It's one of those three things, right? But depending on the channel, they're not usually ready to buy. So the way to follow up, you can educate them through a Facebook ad, you can educate them through Instagram, you can entertain them through Instagram, but to actually make the sale usually comes through an email, right? That just goes out to the list. And so email marketing is not dead. And it's far from it. And for all of those who want to believe it's dead, good for me, because less competition.
Yeah,
I'll take the.
I was recently at Pat Flynn's event, and he showed a statistic. I don't have it handy, but he showed a statistic that actually email is coming back. Like it's going to be the new again, or the old new, or whatever, right? It's going to be now something that people are going to be like, oh, we should go back to that because social's so crowded, no one's paying attention, or it's going to take so much more to get attention. But if you get in someone's inbox, people are still checking their inbox, right? It's almost like a place. It's a place where they go at least once a day. So to me, it's the best way. And I've been doing it for over 12 years now, email marketing. And with whatever brand I'm in, it's always one of the key components. So it doesn't matter if you're selling like fishing gear, or if you're selling, like advice or whatever, to be able to get people to know, like, and trust the brand. To me, one of the best ways is through email. Yeah,
it's funny because people then they'll inevitably ask, well, how often should you email your list?
Yeah, I like that. Right? I like that. Yeah,
time, right. And I'm like, the biggest mistake that most businesses make is they don't email their list enough. And then I'll get the pushback. Well, then people are going to unsubscribe. Well, then they weren't going to buy from you anyway. Right. Or you can retarget them on social media because you have their email address and you run it through ads. But this comes from my direct mail days when I worked as a CMO of this company outside of New York City, and we did a lot of mailers. We sent mail, physical mail. And when they hired me, I was like, hey, I want to double the ad budget to send direct mail, and they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, I want to double the ad budget. Can we get that approved? And they looked at me like I had three heads. And they're like, well, what are you going to say? Like, what are you going to say in these letters or these flyers? I was like, nothing. it almost doesn't even matter. What I want is for them to see our logo.
Right.
Right. Because I mean, I have stacks of mail. I don't check my mail, like my physical mail.
Yeah.
But when I'm going through the mail every couple of weeks or whatever, I don't check my mail for like weeks at a time. I'm like, but I see the logo on I see the letterhead logo, right? And I throw them out. But when I need to buy a shower curtain, I think of Bed Bath & Beyond. You know why? Because those mugs send me a 20% coupon, the big blue coupon.
Yep.
It seems like every 2 days, I get a coupon from these guys. And people will think, oh, they want the ROI on the direct mail. Like they want the direct ROI on. Right. No, they don't. They want brand awareness. Yeah. So if you think about, if you email your list, let's just say every day. I know that sounds unconscionable, but let's just say you email them every day, and my readers see Mike Kim, the name of the sender, in their email inbox every day. Yep. I'm willing to let them open an email 15, 20% of the time. That's fine with me. It's fine. Yeah. Right. That's fine with me. So we sometimes get scared of sending it because we're scared of the unsubscribes or whatever. Right. That's not the right way to play the game. This is all about staying top of mind. Yeah. Top of mind is huge. And it's funny, like a lot of our listeners, they start on Amazon, they sell on Amazon, and you can't control the emails that are being sent by Amazon. So we always want to be able to get the email so we can. But I always tell people, like, Amazon is a buyer's search engine, right? People are going there with one intent, and that's really to buy something or pretty darn close to buying something. And so if you're a brand and your main channel of selling is on Amazon, wouldn't it make sense to get people on an email list that you can show up 95% of the other time that they're not looking to buy something, and maybe remind them about something, or give helpful advice on how to catch more bass? But, oh, by the way, I've got this bass fishing rod. Like, wouldn't it make sense? Am I crazy, or would that make sense? No, that totally makes sense. Totally makes sense. Right. Cause you like, we all have the happy path, right? In the funnel. Like, this is the path we want them to take, the ideal path. They see an ad, they click on the page, they buy the product, we make money. But we all know that's not the most common path people take. The fortune's 100%. In the follow-up. Yeah. So you've got to fix the leaks in the funnel. Right. And you do it through email. Right. And you can do it through retargeting ads on Facebook. That's money. But look, I haven't spent a lot of money on Facebook ads in the history of my business. I've done it for other brands. But for me, I haven't had to do that a lot, just because when I started, I really prioritized building an email list. And so, that I always operate from a place of strength when I have that. So let's dig into a little bit of some email stuff here, because I know that you're a big believer in it. I am as well. So let's talk a little bit about subject lines first, because I know that you have a few thoughts on subject lines and stuff. I think you just did a whole podcast episode on that. And again, I'll link everything up. We'll drive people over to your podcast, so this way here they can listen, because I think that they should listen just for the humor, but also for the tips. Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Sure. So let's talk a little bit about subject lines. I'm just always learning, always wanting to see how people are crafting really clever subject lines without being like bait and switch and clickbaity and stuff. Let's talk a little bit about subject lines and how important they are for starters. Yeah, I mean, the subject line is the ad for the rest of the ad. Right. Like if your subject line is not compelling, it's just not going to get opened. Right. So like I said before, the goal isn't for them to open every single email, but you do want every email to be openable. Right. You want it to appeal to people. And so, and especially with all the spam filters or the promotions tab that people, have on their Gmail accounts and stuff like that, it's really just important that your email subject lines are interesting. The worst thing that you can be in marketing is predictable. Like, I'm always looking for creative ways to write subject headlines to stand out from the crowd, not be overtly disruptive, because then that gets really gimmicky. But a practical subject headline is, not sure if this is for you, but ... Right. And I got this from Phil Jones, who has got a great book out called Exactly What to Say. Oh, nice. Yes. And I got that. I met Phil a month or so ago at a Todd Herman event. And I said, dude, this is one of the best copywriting tools I've ever come across. And he goes, it's not a copywriting book. I was like, I know, I just stole it and used it like that. And I was just telling him how I used some of the stuff that he shared, because he's a sales trainer. And this is what I tell my clients to do. Like, true story. I had a client, Dr. Aldwan Tart. He's a relationship and marriage counselor in the Black community based in Atlanta, works with all these celebrities and athletes. And he's like, dude, I've got an email list of 50,000 people. I want to do a webinar for married people, but here's the deal. If you send an invite for a married person webinar to a bunch of single people, you remind them that they're still single, get pissed off at you. I was like, yes, that's the truth.
That is true.
Right? So, what do I do?
Yeah.
And I was like, the subject headline, not sure if this is for you, but what that does psychologically is it buffers your readers against any kind of, it buffers you against any kind of blowback. Because you're not like, I know this is going to be great. No, it's not. It's like, doesn't apply to me. So they open it. If it doesn't apply to them, but you've used that subject headline, it's not it doesn't come across as pushy. Right. So then I just told him, just send this email and invite him to a webinar, and then say, if this doesn't apply to you, I'm not sure if it does, then maybe you know somebody this can help. Would you pass this email along to them?
Great.
And boom. You know, that's how you do it. Right. Another one that I wrote for one client, and then I tweaked for a couple of others. Like, let's say that you are selling a product that reaches a wide demographic. Okay. Right? And this is a challenge for a lot of folks, right? So we have a product that can reach that's applicable both to young people and to old people. Okay. Right. And so what I'll often use in those situations is a line like this: you're never too young to be a great fill in the blank, and you're never too old to be a better one. So when I've used that line and I'm in soft sell services a lot, right? Leadership, speaking, like skills, right? Because I'm in the personal development space. But really easy, I might just go, you're never too young to be a great speaker. You're never too old to be a better one. And that's true. We're not going to rate the 8-year-old public speaker on YouTube against, Tony Robbins. Right. But that line is true and can hit everybody in between. Now, if you're selling a fitness product and you're sending out an email, and you have some people on your email list that are a little bit older, right, or like younger, whichever way, you're never too young to be in great shape. You're never too old to be in better shape. Right. It's very applicable, right? Yeah, so now they're like, oh, okay. So like, well, do I really want to buy, Beachbody with Tony Horton? Right. Well, you're never too young to be in great shape. You're never too old to be in better shape.
That's true. Yeah.
And now you're inviting these people all into this, product that you're promoting. So I'll share a couple more. Like these often help folks when they're
no, this is great,
driving to get the sale, right? There's a deadline. So one line I'll often use is, hey, I'm guessing you just haven't gone around to. I'm guessing you haven't gone around to making this decision. This was kind of a tweak on some other copywriting phrases that I saw, and I combined these together. This works like magic, right? So, just out of curiosity, what do you really know about fill in the blank? Right. So I use that phrase a lot. Whenever people ask me to share a quick tip on copy, those are the two phrases that I link together. Yeah. So if you picture being on a webinar, right? And our audiences are smart, right? People know there's a pitch coming on the webinar for a product or of some sort, or on the Facebook Live video, whatever it is. Sure. And so to kind of throw a curveball, what I'll do is, hey, real quick, guys, I've spent 30 minutes adding value to you. Can I ask you guys a question? They'll all say yes, of course. I'll say, so just out of curiosity, what do you really know about how A-list thought leadership brands market their services or their products? And they'll come up with all these answers, and the answer is going to be, ridiculous. They're going to be wrong. Like they were just born with a big email list and lots of influence. Right. Yeah. As if you could go down to eBay and buy Pat Flynn's personal brand, right? You can't do that. Right. They all started from zero. Right. And what I'm trying to get them to realize is they actually don't know the answer. But if I tell them they don't know anything, I sound like a jerk. I sound like a know-it-all. Yeah. So psychologically, I'm trying to tweak it. right?
Right.
So eventually these answers come in. They say, you know what? I don't really know anything. For those Game of Thrones fans out there, it's like, you know nothing, Jon Snow.
Right.
Right. And then you say, well, guess what? I know someone who does know, and that's me. And now let me guide you. Can I tell you about how I can help? And it's just a great way to pivot because, just like going to the doctor's office, I'll go to the doctor's office because, and we were talking about muscle soreness or something like that before. Oftentimes it's just human nature. We don't feel good. We finally got to go to the doctor, and they sit us down. We've made the appointment to go. What's wrong? Oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
We're lying to ourselves.
Yeah, right.
We don't want to admit we're hurting.
Right.
And people are sitting on our webinars or reading our emails or on our email lists and watching our Facebook Live videos, whatever it is, listening to our podcast because they need help, because they are in pain. But as soon as the money conversation starts to enter their mind, they want to ignore the pain that brought them to the presentation in the first place. And we have got to figure out a way to remind them of it without sounding like a jerk, without sounding like a know-it-all. Yeah. Right. So that's a great phrase, transitional phrase to use.
I can see this. I can see this being used even in just ad copy, right? Like if you're running a Facebook ad, like these same principles apply, right?
Because if you've got the authority,
right.
Hey, just out of curiosity, what do you guys really know about email marketing?
Yeah.
I know nothing. I heard email's dead.
Yeah.
From who? I don't know. A bunch of people.
Yeah.
Have you ever emailed your list, Scott? Right? Like we're going to run into your students like this all the time. No, actually, I haven't. So, like, how can you tell me that email's not going to work when you haven't even tried anything? Right. Yeah. Well, the one that I get a lot is we teach people how to build a list, and then with the list, how to promote product, but also do it in a way that you're adding value. So like you're having a mix, but there also is a time that you're going to promote, right? But the thing that I get a lot of times is people will build the list to promote something, and then they'll build it and promote, and then wonder why people don't open the emails after the promotion. And I'm like, well, because you burn up all your goodwill. You didn't add any goodwill, any content that was worth, opening, other than you saying like, hey, we just want to let you know the sale ends this weekend. Go get it, right? Yeah. And so then people are like, I tried it, Scott. I sent 3 emails. I did the promotion, then I sent 1 more, and just no one else is, they're just not doing anything, or they didn't buy anything, right? I'm like, well, you only built the list and then told them you had something for sale. We need to build up that know, like, and trust along the way, and then the other stuff we can sprinkle in, and it'll be okay, Yeah. If I could sum up the philosophy that I have for marketing, it'd be in this phrase. Marketing isn't about closing a sale. It's about opening a relationship. And if you really approach marketing through that lens, you're going to email people. Here's why. Because for any relationship to grow and thrive, you have to talk. I can't think of any relationship with your spouse, your friends, your customers. If you don't talk, that relationship is going south. If you don't communicate, that relationship is going south, right? And so you've got to, if we just take that philosophy, like this is about opening a relationship, the sales will close. Even some of these phrases that I'm sharing with you will help you guys close sales, but you have to come at it from the angle of opening a relationship. That is so important. Yeah, that is exactly where people go wrong, especially in the e-commerce space.
Yeah, and I mean, I've seen it. I mean, through any business that I've ever built and ran or coached or whatever, like whenever you can lead with value, like you said, open the conversation and just start to build that know, like, and trust element, then everything else becomes so much easier. I mean, it's almost like you don't even have to try to sell. It just automatically will happen. Podcast is a perfect example. That's actually, podcasting to me has been like just an amazing vehicle because it's so personal. Right. And when you meet people, and I know you experience the same thing, people meet you, they know you more than you know them because they know all of your stories and all of your life and, what you've been doing, what you've been up to, and they know what you don't like and everything. Right. And so through email, you can pretty much, if you tell the right stories, right? People love stories because it relates to them. If you can relate stories in that copy or in a video or whatever, it gets people to really, I guess, feel as though they can relate. And once they can relate, then they become then they start to trust. Then from there, their guard is down.
Yep. publicity is one of these words that have gotten such a bad rap over the years when it comes to marketing. And it's time we stop looking at publicity like a bad word. Even a few minutes ago when we were talking about throwing a big rock into the water, into the lake, that's all about publicity. A webinar isn't just going to help you make sales. It's going to help you gain publicity. Because if you host a webinar, people are automatically going to promote it. It gives you a reason to promote something. If you do a launch, a Jeff Walker type launch, the promotion becomes an event in of itself.
Right.
I a few months ago, back in March, when I was launching this membership site, I did my own take on this whole live launch thing. And so I held a 15-day boot camp, and I did 5 live coaching webinars over those 15 days for free. And it was such a value add that during that 15-day period, I just asked the people who came onto my webinars, hey, if this is a value, can you share it with someone? They're like, no brainer, because this is like an event. We're getting a free coaching.
Right.
But what that did for me, it wasn't for me about the opt-ins or the eventual sales. It was because I was launching a new membership site. I wanted publicity. But the easiest, the most effective publicity was when other people do the talking for me.
Absolutely.
Right. So I didn't spend any ad money. I was like, I'm going to do this in-house this time. I'm going to get the people that I'm adding value to do the publicity for me. And they did. They grew the opt-ins they doubled the opt-ins by doing that. Right. And so those folks were so much more engaged throughout the process of the launch. Now I've got 100 some odd students in that membership. When I go to market and do a full-on launch, I'm going to ask those people to do the same thing and be the case studies and be the testimonials. And I'm going to launch from a place of strength. And so even going back to the 3 rocks, during the year, that was kind of the strategy because, at the end of the year, I'm promoting this book. First quarter next year, the book comes out. Guess what? Now I'm sitting 18 months later. I've got an army of people in a membership site that are going to be glad to promote a $12 book. And I'm just going to be able to stack all this stuff on top of each other. And it really all starts with, hey, I'm going to market because I want to open a relationship with you guys. But I'm doing it in the back of my mind, trying to think through how can I get publicity? It's always easier to sell to someone if they've heard of you before.
Right.
I mean, that's just basic, right? So get your name out there, get your company out there.
Yeah.
It's just so much easier.
Yeah, it is. And that's the thing. I did a little mini video yesterday, and it was about like selling. Like so many people say selling is hard. Selling is actually easy if you've opened that relationship with, a value add that you've added to that person or the people. And then from there, the sales become easier. But so many people, all they do is they get a product and they're just like, I got to sell it. 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 And yes, you have to sell it, but you have to create, like you said, more or less the front end relationship part versus just selling. And to me, it's like you're adding goodwill to the marketplace every time that you put out a piece of content or, a value add of some kind, a resource. And then you're just adding it to your goodwill bank to the market. And when you then offer something, I mean, Gary Vee's talked about this, right? Jab, 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 right hook. It's the same idea, right? It's like add value and then ask, right? It's common sense, really, but we overcomplicate it because it's like, but I got to sell this water jug today. How do I sell the water jug? I got to sell 30 more today, or I don't meet my. But if you would just do the other stuff, it would be a lot easier to sell those water bottles. Yeah.
And to be totally honest, like I've been in this space now for several years, and I've seen the people who have come and go. And the one thing that everyone who has still stayed in the game and even taken it up several levels, the one thing they all have in common is that they create content that garners them publicity, that makes it easier for people to hear about who they are, which makes it easier to sell. I have yet to meet any freelancer or, because I'm in that space, that it's hard, even if I believe in somebody, to recommend them to a friend of mine who's looking for, let's say, a freelance copywriter. Even if they come with my endorsement, it's hard for that prospect to hire that person. For me, it was so much easier to land these copywriting gigs. I've never really chased a gig, and I've been hired by the John Maxwell guys. I've been hired by Donald Miller. I've never had to chase those guys down because they heard of me. And all they needed to do was, I've heard of this guy, Mike. Yeah, I heard he's pretty good. You know anything about him? And then their friends are, oh yeah, you should actually hire him.
Yeah.
True story. Like these guys will often, I won't name names, but I'll get on a call with them and they'll say, hey, I don't know if you've heard of me. I was like, I've certainly heard of you. He's like, well, I'd like you to help me with some copy. I'm like, sure. It's fine. He's like, well, before our call, I went through your website and read a ton of your blog posts. And I'm like, good thing I had that body of work there.
Yes. Yeah.
It made it so much easier to sell. Like it did the selling for me. Now I accumulated that body of work over years and years of creating content.
Right.
But people wonder, how did you get to work with this caliber of people? How did they chase you down? Because they heard of me.
Right. Right.
I made it easy to be recommendable. And so, if you think about that word, commend means to praise. So recommend just means to praise again. So you just got to be worth talking about.
Yeah, no,
so that's it.
I love it. And we think a lot alike as far as, building out the brand. And a lot of it does have to do with those relationships, connections. In our space too, to get an influencer to get behind one of your products or something is a huge deal. And I think that also comes into delivering value to the influencer before you ask the influencer to do something for you, right? It's it's one of those relationship builds. All right, this has been awesome. And I know you and I could continue to go down this road. I'm probably going to have you come back on though. We're going to just dedicate a whole session to just copywriting. And I'm going to do it selfishly because then I know you won't charge me for that coaching session. And then this way here, I can get some free training. We can get some free training out there to the audience and just, give people, to me, the tools, the know-how, and to really not overcomplicate it. I know that you do have a free resource too that you've put out there, and I'm not sure if it's still available, but let people know, how do they get in touch with you, even see some of your work, give them a way that they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, the first thing I would recommend to you guys is, you're listening to a podcast, so just come on over, listen to my podcast. I have a whole series on copywriting that I did just recently for about 5-6 episodes in a row. We got cover everything from headlines to email subject headlines to how I lay out sales pages. Those episodes in of itself is like a copywriting training. So my podcast is called the Brand You Podcast. Scott and I are both in the best sellers for marketing on Apple podcast list, which is pretty awesome.
Pretty
I saw
good.
You there. And there we were, right? So you guys can go over to my podcast, but for copywriting resources, just go to this URL, writegreatcopy.com, WRITE, like writing, writegreatcopy.com. That's where I'm going to house a lot of these copywriting resources. I do have a couple of copywriting products, and none of these are like $3,000. This ridiculous crap where people are like, let me just charge you basically college tuition to take a copywriting course, so that I can give you like 800 pieces of content. We get overwhelmed.
Yes.
Like if you just apply even 3 of the words, like the phrases that I shared on today's episode, you'll see results. But go to writegreatcopy.com. I have one product there there's a bunch of free content there, but I have one product that's specifically for launches, right? Sales page copy, FAQ sections, how to write the launch emails, cart close emails, very, very affordable. And then the other product will be one that I've called Copy Proof. And this is more for personal brands on how to write in their own voice. And, just a quick rundown of that. There's basically 4 or 5 personal brand voices. You got the academic, you got the professional, who's like John Maxwell or Michael Hyatt, right? You got the OMG, right? Oh my God, right? Like use emojis. You got the snarky guy, you got the smart aleck, right? So, and if you really look at these successful personal brands out there, they fit one of those categories.
Sure.
And that because they're clear on that, that's how they're able to get more writers to work for them, copywriters to come on, and they all sound like they're in one voice. So if that's you guys, that's there as well. But I really think it's more the others that'll.
Yeah. And, I always tell people, just be a student, right? It's like, for me, I don't think I'll ever stop learning. I don't want to. I'm always intrigued by just learning, and even just subscribing to your newsletter and just reading your emails, because I'm seeing how you're telling stories. I'm seeing how you're, outlining things and how you're creating a call to action, what you're doing in the PS. Like, I study like people like yourself, and it's a way for me to start to understand who these people are, but also I study just from reading people's emails, right? And I see the ones I like. Yeah. And so again, definitely follow Mike. Number one, you're going to laugh. I'll guarantee that. That's a guarantee. Lot of fun. Just, and just on his Instagram, just a lot of fun watching you and your family and just the funny things. I think the last one that I seen, that you were sitting there and you were waiting for them while they were shopping or something, and you were sitting on the bench. And it's just, just the things that you say. And I'm just like, it's perfect. It totally sums it up. It's exactly what you're doing there when you're waiting for your lady friends or your mother or whatever shopping. And you're sitting there on the park bench.
Yeah, it was my sister, actually. It was on her birthday. We were all on family vacation. I was just sitting out there being miserable alongside my brother-in-law. Yeah. And I was like, and she snapped a picture when we walked out. I was like, that picture is hilarious. I look depressed. I look sad. I look defeated. And so I was trying to get this picture on this other Instagram site page called Miserable Men. Okay, nice. Just for the heck of it. I don't even know why. I was like, it would just be a small little win for me to get featured on your page with this miserable looking picture.
Oh, so, that's hysterical.
Yeah, man, it's just about having fun and adding value to people, and and in a weird way that endears my readers and followers to me.
No, it does.
So that if I do have a solution for them, they end up just trusting. So
yeah, and I'll say too, the other thing is too, before we wrap up here, is there is one post that you just recently did, which is a pretty personal one. So like you literally told a story, and it was you were being vulnerable, you're being transparent, you were opening up, and I think that's another thing that a lot of businesses don't think that they can do. Obviously, you're a personal brand, so you want people to understand who you are. But I do believe that the flaws need to shine, but then also how you overcame these certain things is also important, because then people learn through those stories. So I want to thank you for sharing that. I thought it was amazing. I know you got a ton of response from that. How was it like, though, to push send on that? Was it a little were you a little nervous?
A little bit. So this was a post, guys, that I had written about my divorce, and I was married for 12 years. So, it wasn't a total screw up, Yeah. And life just hit me completely sideways. It just was, to me, it was just out of nowhere. Yeah. And I've worked really hard the last couple of years to kind of move through that process, and like I'm in a great place in life, to be honest. I look back on that. I'm so grateful for the experience. I was lucky. I didn't have kids. And, I have a great relationship with my ex-wife. Like, we've met for dinner a few times. Yeah, right. Great. And I think that's a gift as well, to be able to process through something. We got married very young, and we just like, the way I like to say it is like, one thing I learned there was like, we knew 3 dance moves and they worked for 10 years. Yeah. And then it was like, you're either going to have to learn a new dance move or this dance is over. And I've applied that to business as well. Sometimes we do the same 3 things over and over and we get stuck. We don't learn anything new. Well, guess what? The dance is going to end if you don't know how to deal with this new thing. Yeah. But I shared that, and I shared it from a place of true healing and feeling like, wow, I've been through a lot the last 3.5, 4 years. And I think that this can help people. And the response was just amazing, overwhelmingly positive. And I think when people see you be courageous, it really endears you to them. Absolutely. Right? It just, they borrow your courage, they borrow your energy. Like your freedom empowers others. And so if you are in this e-commerce space and you are living this life of freedom, you have this measure of margin in your life, like, you've got to share that, because that's going to help other people. A lot of you follow Scott, not just because of his great content or his personality, but because he lives a life that you want. And it's the same with me. So when I'm posting that I'm traveling everywhere, I'm hanging out with my family, wrestling with my nephews, or speaking at a huge conference, right? Like, people want that life. And I know this sounds crazy, but when people really ask me to distill what this personal brand space is about, I'm like, people pay me to have an interesting life. Yeah, no, 100%. An interesting life. Yeah. Yeah. They want the solutions because they believe that that's what helped me attain that life. It's not like I'm God. I'm not some celebrity, but just being real. And that's what comes through. Again, marketing is not about closing a sale. It's about opening a relationship. You open your life, people are gonna want to follow.
Yeah. No, I love it. I love it, man. All right, man. Well, hey, I appreciate you taking time out of your day, getting all fancy for me, all dressed up. Look at me. I'm in a hat and a t-shirt. Dude, man, it's always fun hanging out with you, and I'm going to definitely get you back on the show, and we can just dive in and maybe like do a little mini copywriting training here on the podcast.
Yeah,
but yeah, I think everyone should go over and check out Mike. And again, man, thanks so much for doing this, and I appreciate you.
It is my pleasure. Thank you for having me, and thank you all for tuning in today.
All right. Well, there you have it. I wasn't kidding, right? What a great episode. And here's the deal. Like, whenever I do an interview like this with a friend of mine or someone that I'm going to be interviewing, I always want it to be as though we're sitting down together, we're having a cup of coffee or a beer, whatever, and we're just jamming right on this. And just, I'm curious. I know that my audience is curious. You guys are curious. And a lot of times it sparks conversation about us digging deeper into conversations that we'd be having just by ourselves. So it's really cool to be able to be loose with these interviews. And that's why I do it this way. I don't like to be scripted. I don't like to have a ton of bullet points. I do like to have some because I want to know what direction we're going. But at the end of this one, man, this thing turned into an email copywriting masterclass. It truly did. And I definitely recommend following Mike. Mike's a great guy. Also, like I said, he's funny as heck. If you just want to have a good laugh during the day, just definitely subscribe to him on Instagram. He's an awesome guy. All right. So last little note here for you. Two things. Number one, if you want the show notes to this episode, head over to theamazingseller.com/725. And then if you want to, if you missed out on Brand Accelerator Live and you're not able to attend, and you want to grab the recordings, you can head over to brandacceleratorlive.com or baltickets.com. And when they're available, they will be there. I can't promise they're going to be available the time that you listen to this, depending on if you listen to it on the date that it's aired or after, but they will be there when they are available. And also more information for the next Brand Accelerator Live will be there as well. So definitely go check that out. All right, guys. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. As always, remember, I'm here for you. I believe in you and I am rooting for you, but you have to, come on, say it with me, say it loud, say it proud, take action. Have an awesome, amazing day, and I'll see you right back here on the next episode.